Okay, and we are live. Okay, guys, welcome back to the channel. Quite a few things to get through on tonight's show as well for all of you guys watching, of course. So, first of all, Mason Mount is getting closer to signing for Manchester United. This is coming out from many sources today. This is coming, of course, from John Cross, who has said Mason Mount has agreed terms on a 5-year deal at Manchester United, something which we're finally getting some sort of progress on, which I'm glad to hear. I am glad to hear that as well. So Jack Talbot has also joined suit on this. He has basically said Mason Mount will be a Man United player by July the 1st. As well as that, we do have other news, of course, breaking regarding Declan Rice, Rasmus Højlund, Kolo, and of course, a little piece of information on the Manchester United takeover. So guys, how are you all doing tonight? We are running a poll in the comments for you guys as well. So that is, will Mason Mount be a good signing for Manchester United? That's the question for you guys. So at the moment, 77% are saying yes. Who else is down in the comments? Irfan is in there saying Mount is not a world-class player like Caicedo, Barella or Rice. No, I agree. I don't think he is a world-class player. I think he's a good player. I think he's probably overpriced compared to what we should be paying for him. I think we are looking at what, like 60 plus million at this point. It's quite a lot of money for a guy with only 1 year left on his contract. Who else is down there? As a Clinton is saying, Mount, nah, he won't be a good signing. Thank you very much for that. And that's what we're asking you guys in the poll. So we will run this throughout the entire stream as well. So I want to know what you guys think. Will Mount be a good signing? Let me know on the poll. And as well, Ashid is down there saying good evening from South Shields. Good to see you, Ashid. Thank you very much for joining in with us as always. So let's start off with the big one. There is so much news breaking on Mason Mount. Now, this is a player we have been after for a couple of weeks now. I think we've known this would be heating up at some point. So we are definitely getting into what I would call the key time of this deal. So this is where things will be decided. In terms of personal terms, they are agreed 5-year contract, £200,000 per week. That will be Mason Mount's wage at Manchester United. Should the deal go through, everything now depends on agreeing a price with Chelsea that Manchester United find acceptable and that Chelsea are happy to accept as well. So the Daily Mirror are saying Manchester United and Chelsea have now found middle ground over a deal for Mason Mount. The deal is closing in for around £60 million. Now, how that is structured, I think, will be very important. I don't want to spend our entire summer transfer budget on Mason Mount. If this is a £50 million deal with £10 million in add-ons, I guess that could be an interesting one. Ashid is saying you didn't stream yesterday. Yeah, man, I did miss yesterday. Unfortunately, was actually up at United Legends event that my mum had booked tickets for my dad's birthday, so he had invited me on. So we did miss out on yesterday's stream, but we will be live tonight and across the entire week. So plenty of stuff coming up on the channel, man, of course. So will Mason Mount be a good signing, yes or no? That's what I'm asking you guys on the poll in the comments. At the moment, 75% of you guys are going for a yes, whilst 25% are going for a no. I think Mason Mount can be a good signing without being world class. I think that's kind of where I am on this deal. I think in terms of what he will offer to this team, he offers something different. He is a younger player than Christian Eriksen. He can be very good in front of goal, a very good manipulator of space. He finds areas within the penalty box. He gets his shots off, but I do think we could do better as well. Vincent is down there saying he's a workhorse. Even Bruno before Erik Ten Hag wasn't impressive, but you've seen last season he turned it around. Class is permanent, and I expect Mount to turn his form around. Thank you very much for that, Vincent. I think that's a good point. I think when we look at what Erik Ten Hag did with a lot of players last season, we came off our worst ever Premier League's season in terms of points, in terms of what we accomplished across the season the year before. He went and he turned Marcus Rashford from a guy who scored 5 goals into a man who scored 30 goals last season. Bruno Fernandes back to his best at Manchester United. I think Erik Ten Hag could get a lot out of Mason Mount, but I do think if we go over £60 million, we are looking at too much money for Mount. That's my personal opinion. That I think a fair value would be around 40 to 45. Of course, there's England tax, there's Man United tax, but I do think this could be a pretty good deal for Manchester United. And if he turns around and is a big success, I won't mind too much whatsoever. So Ben Jacobs has also said Manchester United are hoping to get Mason Mount for under £60 million, and Chelsea would definitely accept 65. So I think that's kind of where we're sitting. I think Chelsea are looking clear of 65 million, getting towards that 70 million pound mark, whilst Manchester United want to keep it as close to 50 million pounds as possible. That's what I think the overall where this deal's going. I think what United want to do is try get the price down. Chelsea, of course, they want the most possible for their player. I think Mason Mount will push on his side. Of course, around about December time, he turned down a deal at Chelsea, £200,000 per week, and he has now accepted that deal at Manchester United. So I do think Mason Mount definitely wants to leave Chelsea, and I think it will be interesting to see if United get this deal done. Erik Ten Hag wants Mount before pre-season starts. He wants him before the 1st of July. So we have around about a week, and it will be a very big week in the overall story of this transfer. And this transfer leads directly onto another one, because a very good friend of Mason Mount is Declan Rice. Now, Declan Rice is a guy, I think it was Irfan had managed to say earlier on as well, that we should be going for, and Manchester United are definitely going in for Declan Rice. It does seem to be a case that it's coming down to price tags. We're going up against Arsenal, Man City, two teams who can spend a lot more money than us in this transfer window. But we do have an advantage, and this is coming from Sambi Mokbel of the Daily Mail. He is saying Manchester United will offer Anthony Elanga and Harry Maguire plus £40 million for Declan Rice. Now, we know David Moyes, he wants Harry Maguire. He would like Scott McTominay at West Ham. Does that mean that we're going to do a swap deal? I think it's very, very complicated. I think that's a difficult deal to do, and especially with Man City floating around, with Man City and Arsenal offering 70, 80 million pounds. All of a sudden, a deal for 40 with Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay, it's probably not that appealing, all things considered. He else is down there. Clinton is in personal terms is 100% done. I do think United will complete the deal within the coming days. Thank you very much for that. I agree. I think this is a deal we will get done pretty quickly. I think we've offered 2 bids already. I think we are preparing a 3rd bid, according to Romano. He does expect this to be done very quickly, but he has said Man United will not overpay, and they do not want this to drag on. So expect a quick deal. Either Manchester United get Mason Mount, or we move away from Mason Mount. One of the players we have been linked to in terms of actually moving on from Mason Mount is Moses Caicedo. Now, Caicedo, I think, is an absolutely fantastic footballer. I think Caicedo will be absolutely brilliant in this team, and what he would do would be really improve that middle of the pitch. He would really be that box-to-box type player. He would play alongside Casemiro, and he would be a brilliant fit. But, of course, he is a Chelsea target. Chelsea have been in for Moses Caicedo for weeks. So there is the potential that this is a negotiation tactic for the Mount deal, where Manchester United are saying, if we don't get Mount, we're going to take your first choice target. We're going to take the guy you want for midfield. And I think that could be an interesting tactic for Manchester United, trying to do that, trying to force Chelsea into accepting some sort of bid, of course. Manchester United, of course, inquiring for Declan Rice as well, and United are viewed as outsiders, according to the Daily Mail on this one. So I do think, all things considered, I think Declan Rice is a very, very unlikely transfer to happen. I think he will go to Arsenal or he will go to Manchester City. There's very little chance of him going to Manchester United, in my opinion, but that's just my thoughts. But if you guys think we can sign Declan Rice as well, let me know in the comments and keep voting on the poll as well. We have 79% of you guys are saying Mason Mount will be a good signing for Manchester United. I think I said it a couple of minutes ago. He can be a very good signing without being world class. That's my opinion. Irfan is down there saying Caicedo is a Man United fan. Of course he is as well. That is something worth noting. Moses Caicedo is a Manchester United fan, and he was very close to joining the club at one point. I believe it was for a deal around about £4 million. That's his typical Manchester United. We've been saying it for weeks. We've been saying it for months on the channel. If there's a way we can abandon a player and overpay for him later, we will do just that. But I do think that Moses Caicedo would be brilliant for this team. It's whether or not we have that sort of money that Brighton want. They turned down 75 million in January for Moses Caicedo. They will want close to 90 million pounds. But in terms of what Romano was saying, sources are feeling that the Mount deal has to be completed by the end of next week. Manchester United will not bid again, and they are insisting for a quick resolution. They will not be negotiating for too long. I think that's very good because we need to get moving. Everybody around us is bringing players in. Every club around us, all our rivals are getting transfer business done. Manchester United, as always, we are slow. We are very ineffective. So it all depends. Let's just hope we can go on and start to get some deals done, get the players in that the manager wants, that the manager deserves. Vincent is saying as well, would have loved Caicedo even more than Rice. I think Caicedo would be brilliant. You're talking a guy there who can play defensive midfielder, he can play box-to-box midfielder. He even played right wing back for Brighton towards the end of the season. A very versatile player, offers a lot on the ball. I really like Caicedo as a player, and I think I would take him over Declan Rice. He's a younger player. He probably would be similarly priced, but I think that Moses Caicedo would be the ideal signing. It's whether or not Manchester United manage to go in for the deal, whether or not we have that sort of money, whether we can be effective in the market and go out and actually buy a player. That's what we want to do. That's what we need to do. I'm sure you guys are feeling the same way I am. We want to see this done as quickly as possible. So let's check the notes here because there was loads of stuff to get through. Plenty of new stories coming out. What have we got here? Jacob Steinberg says Manchester United are confident of signing Mason Mount despite Chelsea rejecting the first two offers. There is hope for Man United that a bid will come in of around £60 million. So I think that's a decent deal. I think that is probably the right sort of price to pay for Mason Mount. Who else is in the comments? Ashida saying Tonali to Newcastle deal almost close. Yes, I think Tonali will be a brilliant player for Newcastle United, and it is a shame United are not going for players like that. I'm glad they're not getting Nicolo Barella because I think Barella is even better than Tonali. I actually think Barella would be a brilliant player for Manchester United. That's just my thoughts, but if you guys have any other thoughts, get them in down below. And as well, we will go back to the notes as well. Get those comments in. Let me check what is next on the agenda. So, Sambi Mockbill is saying Manchester United have inquired for Declan Rice in recent days with a deal for offering £40 million plus Maguire plus Anthony Elanga. So I think that's a good deal. I don't think West Ham will take it. I think that probably will go for the money offer. But I think if we could bring in Rice, get rid of Harry Maguire, Elanga, Scott McTominay, players like that, that probably makes us better overall. We are getting rid of deadwood players and we're bringing in a very, very good player to come in and replace them in the team. So I think that will be a very nice offer if Manchester United can get anything like that done. Whether or not it happens, I think it's very unlikely. When you have Man City, when you have Arsenal in for the same player, I don't think we will get this guy. I do not think Declan Rice will be coming to Manchester United. I stand to be corrected. I hope we do sign Rice, but I do not think we will be getting him in this transfer window. So, in terms of other players coming in, let's talk David De Gea because basically, last night, we seen on a video, David Ornstein said to Sky Sports News, it looks very likely that De Gea will be leaving Manchester United. Now, of course, the big talk is Man United want to sign Andre Onana, and he could be the new goalkeeper at Manchester United. Let's see, the comments are in as well. Sapon Thunder saying Glazers out. Big T says give them McTominay, Maguire, and Elanga. If they would take them all, they can have them all, man, honestly. Let me double check here. So I'll get the next story up for you guys. You guys can see it as well. So David De Gea is leaving, and Man United buying a new number one goalkeeper is being considered. Andre Onana is viewed as the leading candidate. Now, what can I say about Onana? I think he's a brilliant goalkeeper, very, very good with the ball at his feet. He comes off, he claims crosses. He is a very good shot stopper as well. I think he could be a really good overall signing for Manchester United. That's just my thoughts. I think in terms of what he would bring, it could be a total game changer. I think going from De Gea, who his strengths are shot stopping, it is not playing out from the back. Going to Onana, which would allow us to play out from the back, have that sort of system in place, really buy into what Erik Ten Hag wants to do. And if we actually watch Onana, the guy will be making fans nervous next season as well because he will get the ball and he will dribble out of his penalty box with it. He will look for passes, but I think he would be brilliant for us overall. I would love this signing. I think Onana or Diogo Costa, you're looking at two very, very big upgrades in the goalkeeping department. And I think overall, it's probably something that makes sense. And obviously, it will be needed It absolutely will be needed if David De Gea goes, because I don't think we can trust Dean Henderson if he were to stay. I don't think Tom Heaton will be number one goalkeeper anytime soon. So it's going to be a question of David De Gea stays or Andre Onana comes in. That is what it is looking like for Manchester United. Big T is saying as well, get the Onana get ready for the Onana What a Save song. It writes itself, man. It does write itself. Don't worry, the Stretford Enders will not be having to think too hard to come up with a song for Andre Onana should he sign for Manchester United. So, in terms of other players coming in and other players going out, we have a report from DiMarzio, so Italian sources. They're saying that Manchester United have offered Donny van de Beek to AS Roma. I think Van de Beek will be leaving this season regardless. It hasn't worked out for the guy. He has barely played. He is always injured. I just think Van de Beek, for his career, I think he should go. Now, whether that is to go to Roma, for instance, play under Jose Mourinho, I don't know if that's the right call. I do not know that is what he will want to do. I think a move back to Ajax would really suit Van de Beek, in my opinion. They also got Pastor Milner as well. The only player I'm looking forward to seeing is Mbappe in a Man United jersey. It will be a good signing. I am telling you the truth, bro. Absolutely, man. I don't think like. I think genuinely Mbappe, I don't think we have to really sell ourselves on buying Mbappe. I think we know how good the guy is. I think we know if he came in, he would be absolutely fantastic for Manchester United. A world-class player will always be world-class in my opinion, and Mbappe certainly is that. I think he will be going probably to Real Madrid. I think that's the most likely signing overall. Irfan is saying Onana is going for a free to Inter Milan and Qatar are coming to Man United. I do think like it's just Man United in a nutshell. We let Onana go on a free from Ajax. We do not have any interest in the guy. Then all of a sudden, Erik Ten Hag is here 1 year later, and now we want to sign him for 50, 60 million pounds. I mean, it is Man United doing things only Man United can do. Unfortunately, Big T is down there as well, saying if De Gea goes and Onana comes in, we will need another goalkeeper. Dean Henderson cannot be trusted as number two. I do agree. I think Dean Henderson he will not want to be number two, regardless. I think he has made that abundantly clear. I think that's good because he should probably leave. So if an offer comes in from Nottingham Forest, for instance, he will probably go there and we can get some money in that we're clearly going to need in this transfer window. So I think overall that's a good signing. I think if we sell Dean Henderson, bring in Onana, then we look at a backup goalkeeper. Whether we buy one, whether we promote Kovar from the youth team, I don't know, but we will definitely be bringing in at least one goalkeeper in this transfer window. Rajat is down there as well saying, hey Steph, good to see you. Rajat, thank you very much for joining in with us. And of course, I hope you guys didn't miss me too much last night. Did take a night off, was at a Man United Legends event. There was some interesting speakers. Andy Cole was at it, Lee Sharp, Paul Parker. It was quite a good night. Some interesting stories told for sure. So let me see as well. What else have we got in the news? So we have Man United and Arsenal and Chelsea are all interested in Monaco's Axel Diassi. Man United have not made an offer yet, but are thought to be in the lead for the player. So I think Diassi is. He's what we call a very good backup. He is a backup option to Kim Min-jae. We have lost Kim Min-jae to Bayern Munich. Now, that is unfortunate. That is what's happened overall. In terms of backup options, I think Diassi is a very, very good player. A very strong player, physical, fast. The only thing with Axel Diassi is he maybe is not what we would call aesthetic on the ball. He is quite... a little bit like Aaron Wan-Bissaka in terms of he doesn't look orthodox. It might not look pretty, but it gets the job done. It is effective. He also got in the comment as well. Rajat is saying no problem, was it a free event? I mean, technically it was because the tickets were booked for me because for my dad's birthday and he brought me, so I guess I didn't pay for it. So I'll call it a free event, man. Absolutely. And Irfan is saying Ten Hag never overpay for Anthony and Onana now for big money all the time. Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is with Anthony, we could have had him for a lot cheaper than what we actually got him. That's a big shame. In terms of Onana, we could have had him for free. We didn't. And now we're going to pay a lot of money for him. So I think this is Manchester United. This is what we do in a nutshell. Rajat is down there as well. Kim Man is doing military service in Korea, and then he's going to Bayern Munich. Yes, absolutely. I think Bayern Munich will be Kim Min-jae's next destination. I think he will be sold there. And I think he'll do very well. I mean, Bayern will have Matthias de Ligt and they'll have Kim Min-jae as centre backs. Luca Hernandez still there as well. So Bayern Munich are putting together a very nice squad for next season. Do expect Thomas Tuchel to go back to that three at the back type system that he implemented at Chelsea, of course. But Bayern definitely will be a team to watch out for. Let's see what else we have as well. We actually have two pieces of information on the Manchester United takeover, so we'll get this to you guys next. So, obviously, we were expecting a big week. We were expecting a big piece of news breaking at some point this week. That's what we wanted to see in this takeover. Unfortunately, we haven't quite had that. So in terms of what has been said today, so Daily Express are saying Sheikh Jassim of Qatar reportedly believes that Jim Ratcliffe is a stalking horse being used to make him pay over the odds for Manchester United. I don't think that's the case. I think both parties have been used really to drive the bids up. When one guy bids, the other one has to bid higher. It's like an auction. That's just how it works. Big T as well is saying apparently United have asked Harry Kane to put in a transfer request. I did say that. I think it was the Sun saying it, so we always take the Sun's reports with a little bit of salt as well, little bit of embellishment there from the Sun. We do know what those guys are like as a newspaper, but overall, yes, I do think that Harry Kane. I do think this deal might still have a twist in the tail. I think a lot of it will come down to Harry Kane. If he wants to push for it, then it might happen. It might knock some money off the deal. Manchester United are prepared to offer £80 million. Now, this is basically coming out from the Daily Mail. Chris Wheeler has said this. So, overall, I think we are kind of in a position. £80 million seems to be the maximum we are prepared to pay for a striker. That is the maximum amount we will be going for. So, in terms of all that, I think he probably will cost more, and I do not think we will get Harry Kane overall. Rajat is saying, cannot wait for Jassim to go house hunting. Irfan says, per shares, yes. Axel Diazy, no. Per shares, I think he was a very, very talented player at one point. I actually haven't really followed his career too much in terms of what he's been doing. I do remember him as a young player coming through at Ajax. He came through right after Matthias de Ligt left the club, so maybe Per shares could still be an option. Pastor Milner as well saying, I don't know why we don't have any signing. What is going on with Man United? We are bored. Yeah, I think we are as well, man. I think we are very, very slow in the market. This is something we have known for a very long time. Manchester United take their time doing these deals. We drag everything out. Everything is a lot longer than what it needs to be. It is unfortunate, and I don't know why we did it. Other clubs are very quick in the market. They're very efficient. They come in, get their business done nice and early, and then all of a sudden they're just going out, and United are taking weeks to agree secret and easy deals. Daisy is saying, are you wearing the new United away jersey? No, man, it's literally just an Adidas top. I don't actually have the new jersey just yet. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens in terms of that. Let me see what happens. Big T, Mane has outlined that he previously had an agreement to join Man United before moving to Liverpool. Instead, would you take him? I think Sadio Mane, for how good he was at Liverpool. I mean, yeah, you could not disagree with a signing of Sadio Mane. It's whether he can get back to that level. It's only been a season. It hasn't worked out at Bayern Munich for him. I believe there was some sort of a story where he went out and I think he punched Leroy Sané or something like that. So you do have to think that his time as a Bayern Munich player will be coming to an end pretty soon. Definitely hasn't been a good move for him. I don't think he would probably join United. I think he would still hold that Liverpool link in his heart. But it is a shame. I actually would have liked Sadio Mane when he was at Southampton. I think Louis van Gaal was kind of ridiculed for signing Sadio Mane. I believe he went out and bought Memphis Depay instead. And obviously we should have went for Sadio Mane. That was the player we should have brought in. That would have done a lot better for us than what Memphis did. So in terms of other stuff in the takeover, Daily Express once again have said Sir Jim Ratcliffe is facing a nightmare scenario with Sheikh Jassim, who is thought to be the front runner in the takeover. So I mean, I think those are what we would call non-updates. That's the same story we've been sold for a couple of weeks now. I think it's a big change. For months and months, it was always Jim Ratcliffe is in the lead, and Jim Ratcliffe is the favourite. And now for weeks now it's been shaped the same. It's been Qatar are the favourites. I would like some sort of resolution. I mean, maybe the first couple of stories coming out saying that, oh, these guys are favourites and they're going to buy the club, I think that would have been exciting. But at this point, we want to see more than just this guy feels confident. We want to see a done deal. We want to see some sort of progress. That's what we want. They also have got as well, 10 seconds down there, how much budget do we have? According to most sources, they're putting it between 100 and 150 million pounds. Of course, everybody is saying the same story, that with sealed, United's budget can be higher. But I see United selling Zidane Iqbal for 1 million euros. Looking to sell Eric Bailly for 2 million. I don't think we're going to raise a lot of money doing that if that's what we're going to be going for. Irfan is saying Tottenham go for an Italy goalkeeper. Yep, they bought a goalkeeper today from Sampdoria. So that does open up the market for David Raya, of course. David Raya, Brentford goalkeeper, very heavily linked to Tottenham for weeks upon weeks. I think Fabrizio Romano had said it many times. He expected a deal to be done, and no deal was ever done for David Raya. Could he be the option for Man United? Is he the guy we're going to go for? Let's find out. I think it will be interesting to see what happens. Rajat says, Tottenham don't want Raya. Get him. Yep, I think Raya would be brilliant for us. You're talking there, a guy with Premier League experience, very good distribution, good penalty saver, very good coming off his line. I think David Raya would be a brilliant signing for Manchester United. And whether or not we get him for less than an Onana or a Costa, I think could depend on what we do in terms of the goalkeeping situation. So let's talk about a player now who United are really... it looks like we're considering pulling out of a deal. So that, of course, is going to be for Rasmus Højlund. Now, this is a player who I did think Manchester United would be signing. I did think that Manchester United would be getting him overall. In terms of what's actually happened, Atalanta have seen Man United coming. They've said United need a striker, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to charge 100 million for the guy. So Atalanta want 86 million pound for a guy who scored 10 league goals last season. So this looks like a deal that, unless big compromise is made, this isn't going to happen. I mean, who's going to pay 100 million euros for a guy with 10 league goals last season? I don't think even Manchester United will do that. We know what we're like for transfers. We know what we do in terms of transfers. We overpay for everybody, but we will not be spending that much in terms of getting Rasmus Højlund through the door. So I would expect... I don't think we'll go for him overall. Rajat is saying, look at Fabrizio Romano's tweet about Mountmate is Raya coming. Let me check Romano's tweet here. I think it might be the one about personal terms being agreed and United are willing to walk away from a deal if that's what it's going to take. Let me just double check, because I think I did see that just before we went on. He also got as well, Rajat is saying Gonzalo Ramos price tag brought down to 80 million pounds. I mean, you've got Gonzalo Ramos, guy who has pretty much displaced Ronaldo as the starting striker in the Portugal team, or Rasmus Højlund, who has scored 10 league goals for Atalanta. Now, I think Højlund is a brilliant player. I think a lot of potential in that guy to really go on and do big things in football, but I think he is going to have to put in a transfer request or make some sort of push towards trying to leave Atalanta. I don't think they will take much less than what they're asking. United looking to pay half of that, around 43 million pounds. I don't think this deal will be done unless there's a big push. He also, in the comment as well, Irfan is saying Raya and Mount for free next year. We could do that. That could be an option. Liman as well. I was just talking to Rajat. Rajat is also saying Man City could pay that. And Irfan says number 9 first. Ramos is the one for me. Thank you very much for that, man. I think Ramos could be the guy. I think in terms of what Gonzalo Ramos does on the pitch, very good player. Overall, looking at a guy there, he has facilitated the likes of Darwin Núñez at Benfica. He has managed to get the best out of those guys. He has went on this season, scored a lot of goals. So he can be a facilitator. He can link up the play. And he can also go on and score goals himself. So I think Gonzalo Ramos for 80 million pounds is the best deal on the market for a striker right now. The only one I would try to compare to, the only deal I think United might go for, if we do not go for Gonzalo Ramos, is Kolo Muani. So Kolo Muani, of course, Eintracht Frankfurt player, scored a lot of goals in the Bundesliga over the last couple of seasons. And this is, again, comes from Chris Wheeler of the Daily Mail. He has said that Manchester United could be going for Randall Kolo in the summer transfer window, and he would cost around about 50 to 60 million pounds. So I think that's a very good deal for a guy who has scored as many goals as Kolo did last season, for a guy who has improved so much over the last 2 or 3 seasons. That's a very good price tag, 50 to 60 million. I think he would be a really good player. Rajat is down there saying Kolo more of a left winger than a centre forward. I think he can do both. I do think he can be that centre forward option. I think he's maybe not as well rounded as other players, perhaps not the natural number 9 that a Gonzalo Ramos is, but I think for that price it could be all right. But I do think Ramos would be my first choice for sure. Hey, else is down there in the comments. Irfan is saying, I watched Ramos in the World Cup, world class player. I think the World Cup really highlighted how good this guy was. I mean, to come on for your Portuguese debut and score a hat-trick in the World Cup after you put Cristiano Ronaldo on the bench, I think that does show that that is a serious player. He also as well, Innocent is down there saying, I'm just in, how's it going with the Glazers? Well, man, in terms of the Glazers, in terms of the takeover, we have very, very little information. Unfortunately, we do have 2 updates from the Daily Express. So they're basically saying that Sheikh Jassim feels that Jim Ratcliffe is what we call a stalking horse. So he is there, but he is there as a facade. He is there to try to drive the price up. In terms of what else they've been saying is that Jim Ratcliffe is losing a little bit of confidence. He feels that the Glazers are more likely to go for Sheikh Jassim's offer. So that is potentially where we're sitting at the moment. Rajat is saying he's not a world-class player, but he is very good. And Mohammed is saying, what's the update on the Glazers? Please, someone tell me. Well, pretty much, man, we are just looking much of the same so far this week. It does look like, in terms of the overall confidence of the deal between Ratcliffe and the Glazers and Sheikh Jassim, that the Qataris do seem to be more confident than Ratcliffe at this moment, but not a lot of progress so far, not a lot of updates. I'm hoping, and maybe it's optimism, maybe it's me hoping for the best, but I'm hoping that there has been some sort of progress made this week behind the scenes that maybe we're not aware of yet, or something is happening, because I do feel like we haven't had a lot of updates, especially in the last week. Last week was crazy because we went from having Ratcliffe as the strong favourite at the start of the week, Sheikh Jassim's last offer, then all of a sudden we had Sheikh Jassim in exclusive talks with the Glazers over the negotiations. So it will be interesting to see how that goes. Let me see as well. Rajat says Switzerland isn't a bad team and Bayern are looking at Kolo Muani. Yes, they are looking at Kolo Muani, and I think he could be a good player. Whether he fits what we need in terms of a number 9 who comes in, can hold the ball up, attack the space, score the headed goals as well, I don't know. That remains to be seen. I haven't looked at Kolo Muani in enough detail yet. I have looked at Højlund and Ramos, and out of a lot of the players linked, I think Gonzalo Ramos at his age, 21, could be perfect. I think that could be the long-term option as well. So Tenzing is saying, if I'm Erik Ten Hag, I would use his money for the players. 60 million for Mount, 60 million for Højlund, McTominay and Maguire for Rice swap deal, 30 million cash. That's my transfer window. Thank you very much, man. I do think I think there could be something in this Declan Rice swap deal. Now, whether it happens or not, I think will be interesting. I think what a lot of this comes down to is West Ham have a player Manchester United want. Manchester United have 2 players in Maguire and Scott McTominay that West Ham want. So I think where this is coming from is, can a deal be done? Can some sort of swap deal be done? I think it's very difficult to try do that, especially when we think that Man City are there, they can just offer the cash. Arsenal are there, they can just offer the cash. So there is a very quick potential turnaround. It might be that Declan Rice goes to Arsenal and West Ham use the money to buy Maguire and McTominay. That might happen. Whether or not United actually get Rice, I think, is a completely different question as well. Rajat is saying, how much would Lavia cost us? 45 or 50 million? Probably around that. I think 45, 50 million. In terms of what he would offer, I think you're looking at a really good player there. Very young, but very promising. And next season, of course, Man City have their buyback clause. They can buy him back. So whether or not Manchester United go out and actually manage to get Lavia this season. Be quick, be on the ball. I don't know. Let's see as well. Who's in the comments? Irfan is saying Kobe Minu will come in like Caicedo at United. I do like Kobe Minu. I think he's a very, very good player in terms of what he offers and in terms of what we're seeing from Erik Ten Hag in the press this week. We are looking at Ten Hag saying basically that he will not give young players a chance at Man United if he does not think they're good enough. He will not play them for the sake of playing them. And I think Kobe Minu has 4 or 5 first-team appearances. I think he is a very talented young player, and at only 17, he could be a very nice all-round player in future. Let's see as well, Mr. Shakatak is down there. Mount won Chelsea Player of the Year for 2 years in a row before last season. Chelsea fans are devastated to be losing him. Yes, Chelsea fans do seem to be devastated in losing Mason Mount. I think overall Mount could be a very, very nice player for Manchester United. I think what I would say is he will be a good player. He might not be a world-class player, but he still can definitely do very, very well for Manchester United. Let's see as well. Innocent is saying we have a problem in our team. We are always slow in the market. Yes, we are, man. Slow in the market, slow with the takeover. We are Manchester United and we do things at a walking pace. It's frustrating. It is very tiring. And I am sure by the end of August, we will be very tired of all these transfer rumours. And once the season starts, it will just be football, 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 because Manchester United, we drag things out, we make everything a lot longer than what it has to be. This takeover was meant to be done by March, and we are almost in July, and we do not know if any bid has even been accepted. So it is very unfortunate. Big T as well saying the Swiss forward Amadani is a baller, all and only age 22. Worth a look. Thank you very much for that, man. I think maybe we do have to look around here. There was a young player as well we were linked to. I think it was Adama Bojang. He looks quite good. He actually did look very good in what little I've seen of the guy. We'll have to do some more research on him because I don't actually know the player very well, but he could be an interesting option. So let me just have a quick check at the notes here as well, guys, because there was some other stuff we wanted to go through on the show before, of course, we open up the floor as well completely. Let me see comments. Rajat is saying we'll get 2 centre mids, or can we get 1 centre mid and 1 centre back? Thank you very much for that one, man. I think 2 centre mids would make a lot more sense. But I do agree that we need that centre back. So maybe 1 centre back, 1 centre mid could be this summer in terms of non-striking signings. I think that could be a decent deal, all things considered. Isco is down there as well, saying West Ham fears they will get 90 million for Rice, but other clubs will increase the price of their targets to get a swap deal. Maguire and McTominay looks likely. I think that's an interesting one. I think if West Ham get 90 million pounds for Declan Rice and they want to buy somebody, all of a sudden teams are going to say, you got 90 million pounds last week, let's have some of that. So I think that's just generally how the transfer window works when teams have a lot of money. Manchester United, we call it United tax for a reason, because when we turn up, everything goes up in price. Now this is down to United being rich, of course. This is also down to United being very bad negotiators, and those combined have basically made United have to overpay for pretty much every player. So let me have another look here at what I had down for notes, because there was something else we wanted to go for. Yes, so David De Gea. So David De Gea leaving and United buying a new #1 goalkeeper is being considered. Andre Onana is the favourite. So guys, any thoughts on Andre Onana? Let me know down below on that one. Let's see, Mr. Shackleton Mount also has experience of winning trophies and playing at the top when it has come. He has won the UEFA Champions League, the Super Cup, and the FIFA World Cup. Yeah, he's won a lot of trophies in his time. Champions League, of course, the big one. Overall, I mean, the guy has won trophies, and he would be a popular player. Let me see as well. Rajat says, heard Mason Mount, United are going to bid 60 million. What outlet? So this is coming from a couple of outlets. Man, let me just pull this up for you, because a lot of guys are saying the same story today. So this is coming first and foremost from the Daily Mirror of Football. So they're saying Manchester United and Chelsea have found middle ground in a deal for Mason Mount of around about 60 million pounds. In terms of what Ben Jacobs is saying, he says United are hoping for 60, Chelsea are hoping for 65. So I think we're looking at probably a deal around the 60 million pound mark. For that one overall. Let me see as well. Rajada is saying Onana if De Gea is leaving. Yes, that does seem to be the updates. United do seem to be making a lot more progress on trying to go for Onana. A lot more links for Onana than there is for Diogo Costa or David Raya. I think it all comes down to what happens with De Gea. United will not pay De Gea £250,000 a week or more to sit on the bench. So if De Gea is here, I think he will be number one. If De Gea goes, we will need a new goalkeeper. Let me see as well. Ashid is saying Onana in. Yeah, I think Onana will be very, very nice goalkeeper for United. Big T as well saying Maddison is still available. Newcastle cannot buy him now. They've bought their other players because of financial fair play. Yeah, I mean, James Maddison is available. I think he might be Tottenham bound. I think there was those rumours at the start of the transfer window, but I think all things considered, Mason Mount, sorry, not Mason Mount, James Maddison, sorry, will be a very nice signing for Manchester United as well. Le Mans, who's Paku Modi? I don't know, man. Rajat is down there as well. And Ashid wants Onana in. Thank you very much for those comments. So, guys, we are running a poll in the comments as well. So, the big news is Manchester United getting closer to the signing of Mason Mount. Now, if you guys think he will be a good signing or if you guys think he will be a bad signing, let me know down below. We are asking you guys, will Mount be a good signing? Yes or no? Get those votes in down below. And let me see as well. Have another check here. Something just popped up on my screen, so there might be another story coming through. Let me have a look as well for you guys. Any more thoughts? Get them in to the chat as well, guys. So let me just have a double check here. So I believe it was Adama Bajang we were talking about as well, a very young striker, and he could come into United. I think United do look to be interested. Whether this is the young striker and we bring in somebody else, let's see what happens. We got as well, Safat is saying, what is the takeover status? Okay, man, in terms of takeover, as we know, in recent weeks, it does look like the Qataris have moved ahead. So this is coming from Reuters. They're saying that there is a lot of talk between Qatar and the Glazers over exclusive agreement. In terms of what we have today, we have very, very little information on the takeover other than what has come out from the Daily Express. Now, the Express have said, first and foremost, that Sheikh Jassim feels like Jim Ratcliffe is what he has called a stalking horse. So he is there, but he is no danger. He is there just to make the price go up for him. In terms of what the Daily Express also have said, they've said Ratcliffe is facing a loss in confidence in his overall bid for the takeover. They think that Ratcliffe is looking and thinking that Sheikh Jassim will be the new owner. So let me see as well. Saga is saying Qatar will change Man United. I think any owner will change Man United for sure, whether it's Qatar, whether it's Ratcliffe. I think there will be an improvement, no doubt about it. Whether or not you want Qatar or Ratcliffe, I think everybody can agree that getting the Glazer family out is the most important thing we can do in terms of our football club moving forward. I think that Qatar definitely have a lot to offer when we look at the debt being paid off, potential for stadium redevelopment, training ground redevelopment, a lot of investment across the entire club, in the youth teams, in the women's team, in the first team as well. I think what Qatar are offering is absolutely fantastic for this club. Now, there is things that come along with that. I think what Ratcliffe is doing as well, I do think Ratcliffe could come in with some good ideas. I think he would come in and eventually get rid of the Glazers. I think keeping the Glazers on is the biggest thing going against him in this fan base. We have had enough of the Glazer family. We do not want them anymore. And I think the fact that he would be willing to work with them, keep them on, even if it is pragmatic and leads to him buying them out down the line, I think a lot of fans do not want that. We want a full sale. That is the ideal thing. Let me see as well. So Dan is saying Mason Mount brings quality in a few positions. I think he does as well. He does play kind of in a number 8 position, in the number 10 as well. He can play slightly off the left or slightly off the right. So I think Mount will be a very good signing for us, and he would definitely help us. Safat is saying any specific date of announcement? Not in terms of an actual announcement. Now, I think it will be very interesting. I believe it's in 6 days' time. Manchester United have their AGM in New York City. So what will happen at this AGM? They will take the owners, the directors will be taking questions from shareholders and from the media. So I think there definitely will be information come out regarding the takeover. I think there definitely will be something said at that, whether it's a brief that they're going to put out, whether it's in terms of an actual news or somebody lets something slip. I do think we will find out more information in the next few days. In terms of other stuff, I think ideally, I would like to see something tomorrow. Whether it happens or not, I do not know. But I'm hoping that within the next week, we will see some sort of updates some sort of progress made. Rajat is down there as well, saying Mount has good Premier League experience. Rated dude. Yep, I think good experience. Won a Champions League. The guy is an England international, a lot of Premier League experience, knows the Man United players, knows Rashford, knows Shaw, Maguire if he's there as well. So he would settle in quite nicely, and I think Mount would be a very nice signing for us, all things considered. Stephanie is down there as well. It's good to see you, Stephanie. Thank you very much for joining in with us. Ashade is saying the whole thing with Radcliffe is he's willing to keep the Glazers, and we do not want that. I agree with that. I think that is the single biggest thing going against Radcliffe. It's keeping the Glazers on. Whether or not it's a pragmatic thing, whether he can afford to buy them all out, I think it's more the idea. The idea that the guy would come in and work with the Glazers. I think that is the biggest thing going against him in the fan base's eyes. So let me see as well. Rajat is saying the Glazers will still have power. They will have some sort of power because they will be shareholders. But I do think Radcliffe will be majority owner if it is him. He will own most of the shares. His say will be final, but the Glazers, they'll still be there. They'll still be taking dividends out of this club. Let me see as well. Irfan is saying Dortmund are interested in Hannibal and will be willing to pay 15 million euros, including bonuses. And Rajat says, I wouldn't mind Eze or Elisa. I think Eze, Elisa, you're looking at two very good players. They're two very technically good young players. Premier League proven. I think Elise is very nice, and how he plays is really interesting. Very technical footballer. I think Eze is another one who I wouldn't mind seeing at United. I would like to see how he develops in the next couple of seasons. Definitely come back from that bad injury very nicely, and I think Eze is a very good player. In terms of what Irfan's saying, now this is something that came out from the Manchester Evening News earlier from Rich Fay, I believe it was. So he had basically said that United would be interested in selling Hannibal Mejbri. Dortmund would be willing to pay 15 million euros. Now, Romano has come out and he basically has said that Dortmund are interested in Hannibal Mejbri, but they wouldn't want to pay 15 million euros. I would like to see a deal done. I think Hannibal could be sold maybe for 5 to 10 million pounds. I think that's a fair deal. I think that would help our budget. Let me see as well. Rajad is saying winter fans getting good news about Takeover, hoping for the beginning of July. Well, that's what I think, man. I think when we look at this AGM meeting being next week, talks between the media, between the shareholders, with the Glazer family, with the board of directors, I think there will be something happens at that next week. I think we will find some sort of answers. I might be completely wrong. I might be completely second guessing or overthinking it, but I think we will find some information. Big T is saying they should announce a takeover on Independence Day. It would be funny. Jump on, it actually would be. It could be United's independence from the Glazer family. It will be a very good day when it eventually happens. Now, whether it happens in the next couple of weeks, the next couple of months, whether we are sitting here in 15 years and Sheikh Sims put in his 234th bid, who knows? But I think it will be a very good day when it happens. I'm hoping that next couple of weeks we will find some information out, we'll make some progress, we'll start to move towards getting this deal done. That's what we want to do. I think progress is all we're asking for. Ideally, the club gets sold in the morning, but we know that's not possible. The size of this club, the price tag, it will take a while to go through. I think we just want to see progress. We want to see a bid accepted or exclusive talks or something of that nature, basically where we can say yes, okay, we are moving forward. I think it's sitting still, sitting in the mud is really dragging this fan base down. Isco is down there saying Mount is a monster at pressing and that's why Erik Ten Hag wants him, and Ajax he used 2 number 8s. Of course he did, yes. He would pretty much play, well, depending on the system, he used a couple of different systems, but he would play, I think the Ajax team I do remember the most is probably the Champions League run teams. So he had Lasse Schöne in the number 6 position, he had Donny van de Beek, he had Frankie de Jong, he played Dusan Tadic as a false 9, and it was a very nice system, and he did play with 2 number 8s. I think that's how he wants to move. I think we've seen it towards the end of last season, those times when Bruno Fernandes would drop deep into a midfield 3, and it would kind of be a 3 with Eriksen, Casemiro, and Bruno. I think that could be what we look at next season. So it might be Casemiro holding with Bruno and Mount doing a lot of the pressing work, and of course that would mean more defensive jobs for Casemiro, but if you're pressing and you're running the ball high up the pitch, he shouldn't be too much busier as well. Let me see as well, who have we got down below, guys? Rajat is saying it's not allowed to put fake news out on Qatari ownership, so it must be something. Yeah, they're not allowed to put basically they're not allowed to put out fake news because United are a public company. It can cost people money, it can cost investors money, so they do work very, very secretively. They will not confirm things until they're absolutely done. So I do expect what we would see is probably it breaking through newspapers, probably breaking through sources and in the know guys, financial outlets, things like that, where the story can be told without the club making official confirmation. It's like I said, we will always get a here we go from Romano before we buy a player. We will always find out from Reuters, from Bloomberg, from news outlets that United have been sold before United will confirm it themselves. We're always the last ones to confirm it because there's always a lot of details to be done. But as long as we get some sort of progress, I will be happy enough for the short time. Let me see as well who we got down below. We have Mawan saying United really need a striker. Absolutely, we do. I think in terms of who we're looking at, I think when we look at Gonzalo Ramos, I think that is my first choice target. I think we have a guy there, 21, 22, scored a lot of goals last season, went to Portugal for the World Cup, scored a hat-trick in his debut, benched Cristiano Ronaldo. Last season, he played a very interesting role, helping Darwin Núñez score a lot of goals for Benfica. This season, he has shown he can score goals as well. So he's an adaptable player. He can help link up with the likes of Bruno and Rashford, and he can score himself. That is a player to me who not only adds goals to our team, but will get more out of the players we have. And I think that's a very important point. Let me see as well who we got. Lucky Singh, good to see you, man. This happened yesterday. Paperwork is done on both sides. I think that's in terms of Mason Mount. Dan is saying Elanga, Mesbury, Hannibal, Fred, Maguire, Donny, McTominay, Martial all be sold. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we've done this before. We've looked, and there's probably 10 plus players who I genuinely think we could sell, and it wouldn't impact us whatsoever. I think we would not be a worse player for selling a lot of these guys. Let me see as well who we got. Rajad is saying Lindelof can also play DM. I mean, he kind of can. I would prefer an actual specialist defensive midfielder. I would probably play Sandro Martinez at defensive midfield ahead of Lindelof, but I think at a worst case scenario, he can do that role. Henry is down there. Good to see him, man. Irfan as well. Like to see Rini or Tevez. Someone like that to come into United. Thank you very much. I do think someone like that would be brilliant. I mean, I said last night, I was sitting talking to my dad about the football and stuff, and I said Wayne Rooney would be perfect for this team, and it's so unfortunate he is not in. He's no longer playing football. A young Rooney would be absolutely fantastic in this team, absolutely incredible. Let me see as well. Lucky is down there saying I think Sheikh Sim's the winner. They're just finishing off formalities. I think there's a lot of things need done. I think from what we can see, from making a judgment based on all the evidence we have, based on all the news we have, I think it is very likely that Sheikh Sim is feeling confident that he might be in the head. He might be what the Glazers are considering at this moment in time, who they want to sell to. Whether or not it's actually done, I do not think it is, but I think we are getting closer. Big T is saying Ten Hag style is more transitions than out and out pressing. It will take time for new signings to adjust. We need signings in the training camps now. Thank you very much for that, man. I do think that we will see more of a change from Erik Ten Hag this season. I think he will go back to a more possession-based style, trying to play out from the back. I don't think it's right, really, to think of it like Pep Guardiola football. I think it's kind of a mix between classic Dutch football, a bit of the Pep tiki-taka influence, of course, stuff that has come from Johan Cruyff, that sort of philosophy of football, and as well as that, he has also been shaped by his time in Germany, so he does like the pressing, he does like the transitions. I think Erik Ten Hag is a very adaptable manager. He will overall try to get the most out of the strengths of this team. We do have players like Rashford, like Garnacho, who are perhaps not the best in possession, but very quick, can get in behind. And I think Erik Ten Hag recognizes he needs multiple tools at his disposal. He needs multiple things he can do with his team. That's what he wants to do overall. He will want to improve. He will want this team to be versatile, have different options, be able to move the ball quickly up the pitch, hold the ball for a lot of time. So I think we will see players brought in to try and accomplish a lot of that. I think we will see players brought in who will help hold the ball, will help press, and will be versatile. That's what we want to see as well. Any more thoughts, guys? Get them into the comments, and we can see on the poll as well, 117 votes. We have 87% of you guys are saying yes to Mason Mount being a good signing, and 13% are saying no as well. And Brightstar is down there saying, why are United not signing players like other clubs? Unfortunately, man, I think we can pretty much just write that off as United do not operate like other clubs. We are very slow with every signing. We took about 6 weeks to buy Christian Eriksen last season, and the guy was available on a free. So if there is a way to make it longer, it can happen as well. Isco is down there saying Glazers are using transfer window as a bargaining chip for Sim to up his bid. I mean, it might be. It absolutely could be. And Kyle is saying we are buying Mount for his potential. Thank you very much for that one, Kyle. I think, yeah, I think we're looking up Mount. As much as it is potential, I think it's the player he has been before as well. I think Chelsea Player of the Year 2 seasons in a row. I think what Erik Ten Hag will want is to try get Mason Mount back to his best, and I think that will be his plan, because Mason Mount is a very good player. He had a rough season last year for Chelsea, albeit every Chelsea player did. Every Chelsea player from top to bottom, across the board, in that whole squad, none of them played well. So do expect to see Mason Mount bounce back. He is a good player. He is better than what he showed last season. I think Erik Ten Hag can get more out of him. I think we've seen this last year. He managed to get a lot out of Marcus Rashford. Took Rashford from scoring 5 goals last season to scoring 30 goals in this season. Let me see as well. Big T saying, any news on membership for the channel? I actually think membership is open, man. I was just actually looking at it earlier. I think it might be open. I'm not 100% sure though as well. Dan is saying better channel than United Stand. Thank you very much for that, Dan, man. I mean, obviously we're not as big as United Stand. I try my best for you guys, and you guys seem to enjoy the content, enjoy each other's company in the chats as well. As well as that, there is a Discord, so we do chat in there quite regularly. If you guys want to check that out, the link is in the bio for after that as well. So thank you very much for all that, guys. And let me check as well. Want to see if there's anything breaking in terms of news, anything interesting popping up as well that we can have a quick chat about as well, just before we move on with the stream as well as that. So of course we call it slow internet. Let me pull it up on my phone as well. I'll see if I can get it here for you guys. Any more thoughts, guys? Keep getting them into the comments as well, and keep on voting on the poll. At the moment, 87% of you guys are saying yes to Mason Mount being a good signing. In terms of other players going in, obviously we have big rumors Declan Rice could be one of those guys. Whether Rice happens or not, I don't know. I think Rice would happen if Arsenal and Man City were not in for him. I think it's a complicated deal. I think what we're trying to do is very, very complicated overall, because we're trying to swap not one but 2 players. And if we're trying to swap 2 players and money for one guy, that's a lot harder of a deal. And I think it's similar to the Takeover. I think it's a very complicated deal for Jim Ratcliffe to complete. He's looking to buy out some of the Glazers, try to keep some of the Glazers, all that. It's very complicated. Sheikh Jassim is offering this big cash up, this big cash money up front, and I think we're seeing this with Rice. I think City will come in with a bid of probably £80 million. Arsenal will go in with another big bid. Who else have we got down here? Lucky is saying, I'm sure they got the money package close to 6 million. And as well as that, Mike is saying, who is the owner of Manchester United? At the moment, it is the Glazer family. We do not want it to be that way for long. We want to see either Jim Ratcliffe or Qatar come in as the owners. Anybody but the Glazers will be a big improvement, in my opinion. It cannot get worse. I know you guys are feeling the same as me. Lucky is saying as well, Sheikh Jassim in. Loads of comments coming in. Irfan's actually got one down here as well. Good to see you, man. Irfan has, Chelsea are close to agreeing a fee of 75 million plus 5 million for Brighton for Moses Caicedo. Personal terms already agree. Players' medical will follow in due course. I think that's unfortunate, man. I do think that is unfortunate, because honestly, Moses Caicedo would be perfect for what Erik Ten Hag wants to do with this club. I think he would be a brilliant signing overall, and it would be a shame to miss out on a guy like that. So absolutely, that is a real shame if he does go. I hope he doesn't. I mean, I would love United to go in, steal Moses Caicedo later on. That could be a dream for me. Whether or not it happens, I don't think so. I think it's gonna be Chelsea getting Caicedo. But overall, I mean, it's a good signing for them. He's a brilliant player. Brightstar as well saying, what are the chances of signing a new striker this season? Thanks very much for the comment, man. I do think we will be buying a new striker regardless. We will be bringing in a striker. Whether it's Ramos, whether it's Højlund, whether it's Kolomouani, I do think and number 9 will be brought in. Ronnie Wilson down in the comments as well, saying they're saying Mason Mount is a done deal for 5 years. Yes, it does look like that. That is Daily Mirror reporting that. They were basically saying that Manchester United have that agreed. What would happen would be £200,000 a week, and that could be the wage. Personal terms agreed. We are trying to agree a deal with Chelsea. If they're buying Caicedo, I think that's probably Mount going the other way. If selling Mount would get those guys pretty much their money needed to buy Moses Caicedo outright. Let me just check as well. Just want to check the membership thing for you guys. I think it is active. If anyone is interested on that, of course. Dan is down there saying a good deal for Mount, 5 year and his peak years ahead. I mean, yeah, Mount has been around for a while, and the guy, to be fair to him, is only what, like 24? So I think that would be a good deal. Let me see as well who we've got. Dan, right on Dan's. Uba is saying Glazers out, Qatar in. Thank you very much. And Lucky Singh as well. Sheikh Sim in, Mount, Kolomowani and Hoyland in. Thank you very much for that one, man. We would be going striker heavy, but I like the thinking. I like the gold. And do you know what, man? If we go out and buy like 3 strikers, it will be fun next season. We want to see fun football. Let's just buy plenty of strikers. Let me see who else is down in the comments for us. Dan is saying Ramos and Dembele on a free as backup. I mean, yeah, it could be an interesting one, man. Irfan as well. Tottenham Hotspur have denied making a £50 million joint bid for Maddison and Harvey Barnes. However, Spurs are interested in both players and would be willing to let Harry Winks join Leicester, so long as we do not sign Harry Winks, because it's been talked about for seasons now. I just leave him from Man United. He can go to Leicester if he wants. Happy days. Let me see as well. Mike is down there. Glazer family out and Qatar in. You guys have always been very, very much Qatari in. I think over the takeover process, I think that I can feel myself feeling that Qatar definitely offer a lot to this club. I think in terms of what they would do would be changing the club top to bottom. I think it would be a massive, massive change on it. But tell you what, guys, I will actually run. Let me just run this poll real quickly, and I'll fire up another poll as well. We'll be asking you guys, who do you want as owners? We usually do this. We've done this many, many times. We'll fire up a poll. You guys can get voting on it as well. Let me see some more comments coming in. Ashid is saying Ratcliffe will not cope with the bid because he needs to have the Glazers included. I think that's how he is trying to structure his deal. I think overall that it does look like Sheikh Sim will be buying Man United. Let me just do this here real quick. There we go, guys. So poll up in the comments. You guys can feel free to vote on it. We're asking you guys who should buy Man United. Will it be Qatar or will it be INEOS? Let me know down below on that one. Let me see as well. Is there more comments? I'm trying to get this up here. Let me double check that. Lucky Singh, yes, is saying as well, Kolomowani working towards getting him. We could be moving towards a Kolomowani signing. In terms of what Lucky Singh is saying, time to leave Avram Glazer. Time to leave for all the Glazers, man. Absolutely. Get those guys out of this club. The basketball team with. Let me just double check here, guys. Am I frozen at all? It does look like I might be frozen. United love Qatar in, and we're back, baby. Thank you very much. And Brightstar as well, saying how good is Hoyland as a striker. Hoyland is a very good striker. It all comes down to price tags. I think that's a big thing here. Am I lagging too much, guys? If so, I might have to drop off here. Let me just double check. If you guys can let me know if it's lagging on your end. Ashid is saying you're lagging. Thank you, man. Tell you what, guys, I think I'm gonna have to leave the stream here because I think we're about to crash. So tell you what, guys, thank you very much for joining in with us. I'll get this fixed for tomorrow as well. So thank you very much, guys. And if you do want to subscribe and support the channel, please consider hitting that sub button. And the Discord is down below. Yeah, just gonna end here.